Mark Pope makes another splash in the transfer portal, bringing in national champion and former Florida Gator Denzel Aberdeen, the sixth man of the year type of guy for the Gators. He didn't win sixth man of the year, but he was their sixth man on a team that won it all. Exceptional basketball player, and Florida was really upset to lose him. We'll talk about this. Is he the last addition? Will we get somebody else? What is going to happen from now on in the portal and I guess in high school recruit ranks? We'll talk about that for the 25-26 roster for the Cats on today's episode of the Wildcats Today Podcast. I'm your host, Andrew Stefaniak, publisher over at Kentucky Wildcats on SI, joined as always by Carson Nash. What a good weekend, Carson. Good weekend. The Tyler Childers concert was awesome. Now you got a big-time commit. I mean, the vibes, once again, when the vibes are high on a Monday, you know that the good stuff's going on. So the vibes are high, huh?
Yeah. And anytime you get me smiling on a Monday where I don't need coffee to get me jacked up, it's a big time. And, 11 big booms for Denzel Aberdeen. Yeah. That's 11 of those. But what were you saying?
I was going to say, I mean, Denzel Aberdeen is a player that, well, my favorite thing in the world, and I hinted at it a second ago, when a player enters the portal and that fan base goes, son of a gun, are you kidding? What the heck, man? And you get that player, you've done well, and you're doing that from a team that won a national championship, 2 Mondays ago. Or last Monday, whatever. So the point is, this addition is massive for Mark Pope and the Kentucky Wildcats, a guy that's going to take that leap from a great role player in the best conference of college basketball to, I think, a dominant force, more than likely as a starter for the Cats.
Yeah, I feel like you've seen with a couple other pickups on our roster, like Cam Williams, even a Jalan Lowe. I know his stats were good, but his efficiency was a little low. I think you're going to see a lot of these guys take that extra leap in this Mark Pope offense, and I think Denzel Aberdeen's going to be a huge candidate to take that leap. I tab him him and Cam Williams, I think, are going to take the two biggest leaps on our roster next season after what they showed last year. So I'm super fired up about this guy. And, it's always good to have winners, winners in the locker room. That's one thing that you got to have. And this dude just got done winning. So I love the pickup here.
I'll tell you this. Well, also, hey, if you haven't already hit that subscribe button, this should be, we got the big news. Hopefully we got a lot of new faces here watching today. So we appreciate if you're a first time listener, hit that subscribe button. If you are, we'd really appreciate that. But Carson, I mean, I saw a video and I wrote about this one of the articles I wrote about Aberdeen today. It was like one of those March Madness videos that the social media team put out for March Madness. And then they like interviewed all the Florida players. We're like, who's the most underrated player on the team? And it felt like everybody, there was a couple Thomas Howells, but I mean, everybody, it felt like said Denzel Aberdeen. And it was one of those things where it was like, oh, Denzel Aberdeen. It wasn't like, Denzel Aberdeen.
You know what's funny?
What?
Ask Alabama players the same thing. Mo Diabate.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
We got two of them. You know what I'm saying? Like you said earlier, when opposing fan bases hate to lose a player, that makes me really, really excited.
Exactly. Especially SEC fan bases. I mean, like if we were talking about Wright State right now, I'd be like, okay, obviously.
Or Indiana.
Yeah, or Indiana. Well, they're trash anyway. But I mean, talk about Nebraska, Nebrindiana. That's what we're going to start calling it. They're the same thing. Irrelevant. When we landed on the moon, that was when they became relevant. What was that? There you go. But yeah, I mean, this is just one of those additions, Carson, that I think now we're going to talk. We have some interesting topics today, Carson. We want to talk about our style of play for the future with this roster. We're going to have a conversation about that. But Aberdeen, to me, he's also a great defender. I think a lot of people are excited about his upside as a scorer. He averaged 7.7 points per game last year in 19.7 minutes per game, 35% from three, 41.8% from the field. But I think his defense is, I have not seen a lot of folks talking about his defense. He's a great defender. He's, just one of those, a bulldog going to come out there and just get up in your grill and take the ball away from you and make it miserable for you to try and score. He's a great defender, and I have not seen a lot of folks talking about that.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, and it kind of goes along with the rest of the pickups that we have, right?
Yeah.
Some size and some athleticism and some good defense. Feel like we've gotten that at every single position we've recruited so far this offseason. So I'm really excited about that. I think I'm going to love the fact that we're going to be able to get downhill and get to the rim and maybe not miss 1,500 layups a game. You
Mhm.
know, this team's going to go up to the rim strong and either get fouled or kick it out for an open three. It's going to be really, really exciting.
I have a thought here, and it's going to kind of wrap into the conversation we're going to have, Carson. So I want you to tell me your thoughts on this. I think that people hear Mark Pope system. I do think it's quite overused, that term. I mean, we use it here sometimes, but I do think it's overturned because I think it's just pretty much, it's just a modern European style of basketball. But
Mhm.
I think that to be successful at BYU, Mark Pope had to shoot a lot of threes because he wasn't getting, the elite athletes. I know BYU's recruiting well right now, so anyone's like, well, BYU, yeah, okay, yes, they are recruiting well right now, but he wasn't getting those elite athletes. He wasn't getting those type of guys, and they shot a lot of threes. I think that's kind of how they succeeded. I think Mark Pope, heading into last year, he said he wanted to shoot 32 plus threes a game.
Mhm.
They only shot, I believe it was 25 or 26 a game. So they were,
Yeah.
6 or 7 threes under that average. And I think you're going to see this year's team shoot around that same number, 25, 26 threes. I don't think they're going to shoot above 30. I think that Mark Pope is getting these athletes that are able to get to the rim and going, I can be a team that has great balance between shooting and getting to the rim and succeed that way. So I kind of think that's the difference here of what his teams were at BYU to what his teams are now. Now, obviously, it's still got the same style of passing and catch and shoot and cutting to the basket and all that. But I think there's going to be a bit of a difference in the style of offense Mark Pope runs this year that relies on both getting to the rim and shooting.
I can completely agree with you. That's a great statement. I think it's going to allow us to be a lot less boomer bust.
Yeah, I
Last year
agree. I agree.
it was heavily on if we were hitting threes, we won. If we didn't hit them, we probably lost. So this year's team, this upcoming roster is going to be a lot more well diverse and different ways to score. So really excited about that, and it takes a lot of that. You have to shoot perfect to win away. So.
Well, I mean, run through the current roster. Everybody you got, I mean, can get to the rim. Lowe can get to the rim. Aberdeen can get to the rim. Jasper
JQ, our
Johnson
center,
can get
can
to
get
the
to the
rim.
rim.
Huh?
So JQ, our center, can get to the rim.
Jake, yes, our center. Yelovich can get to the rim. Diabate can finish around the rim, but they also can all shoot. That's the thing. Everybody can shoot. There's not one player on our team, I'd say, honestly, aside from Moreno, that is not a threat from three. I think that you're going to see JQ take actually a significant jump in his three-point shooting. So I think the
And
only
I don't
player
think
that is
Pope's
not a
going to
threat.
tell Moreno not to shoot him.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
we
agree.
saw him knock him down
Now,
at the McDonald's All-American game.
yeah. I mean, because it was the Jokic
Yeah.
cookie jar behind the back three, but it went in. It went in. Hey, I mean, it went in. Shoot your shots, what they say on the golf course. Doesn't work out for me, but that's what they say.
Yeah.
So I think I'm just telling you, I think this is going to be a different. I'm excited because this is going to be a damn good basketball team, but I think we're going to see a different style of basketball from Mark Pope this year. I don't think his goal is going to be to shoot 32 threes. We could be wrong. He'd come out and say that, but I think landing Aberdeen kind of solidified this for me because we all heard they were looking for a shooter that lights out. You weren't going to get Kobe Bryant, but someone like Kobe Bryant is who they were looking for. But they go get a guy in Aberdeen who can shoot. I mean, 35%. He can shoot. That we're not
90
saying he's not a shooter.
percentile in the catch and shoot game.
Exactly. I'll let you talk about the catch and shoot stuff here too. But I mean, he's a great shooter. But I think that he's also just a more well-rounded basketball player. He's not a shooter. He's a basketball player who can do everything. And that right there is what Mark Pope's done. He hasn't gotten drivers or shooters or defenders. He's gotten basketball players who are capable of doing all of the above, and that will be the difference this year.
100%. And I know it was kind of everyone was expecting Rylan Griffin to visit, which I think that might be pushed away.
It's canceled. It's officially
canceled. But I mean, comparing the two, I think Aberdeen's much better of a passer and much better of a ball handler. And I think in the other categories, he's probably around the same as Griffin, or maybe a little bit worse, a little bit better in other categories, but around the same. But I think Pope's going for the whole package, right? He wants a good defender. He wants a good passer. He wants everything. And we've got tons of players that can do it all. And I absolutely love it with the size, the athleticism. This is top 3 roster right now.
Yeah. I mean, let's go. They probably. I was gonna go look at FanDuel and see what the odds are for us to win the Natty, but I mean, they probably haven't changed yet. But I mean, I'll tell you this right now, and you can bookmark it. Now, but I don't think it's a crazy statement. I think Kentucky will be top 5 in the betting odds to win the national championship next year, right where they should be every year. And I'll tell you this, Carson. I thought we were going to be a lot better this year than we were last year. But I think this is going to be the jump is going to be massive. Not like I thought we were going to be great next year. I always thought that. But I mean, we can win a national championship legitimately. And not like anyone can. No, this team can win the national championship, and it wouldn't surprise anybody. And I don't know if I expected to say that right now 2 months ago.
No, it's almost a little shocking. It just came around so quickly. But this roster, I feel like you're looking for that Otega announcement back, and then maybe add one guy that's a developmental piece, but that's probably it. And then you're ready to roll, and you've got as good of a chance as anyone to take down the Nets. And where's the Final Four next year? Indy.
I don't even want to talk about it.
It's in Indy.
Well, yeah, but I mean, things don't go well there often. But
but by that time, it won't matter. If we're in the Final Four in Indy, there won't be a chair that's not got glue on.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. And I bet it's at Lucas Oil again.
It is,
like the Sweet 16 was, which honestly, Mike was there and he said the seats weren't terrible up in the up area. I don't know. I was in the media area, but I mean, I don't think they were that bad. Which, we'll worry about that. I mean, obviously I already booked my hotel, but we'll worry about that when we get there. Yeah. But, so I just think you're going to see it. Like I said, Carson, this is going to be a kind of different. It's like Aaron Rodgers going and doing his little retreats and smoking his ayahuasca. I think Mark Pope has changed as ayahuasca. Do you even smoke that? Even know what it is?
I think so.
Okay, sure.
Aaron Rodgers is
he does his own exactly. But I think Mark Pope's kind of had that revelation of this is what I'm going to do. This is how, and I think that once again, Kentucky's going to shoot a lot of threes. I mean, they're going to shoot a lot of threes, but I'm just saying, I think this is a team, like you said, Carson, that isn't spray and pray. They aren't we have to, if we're going to be the top 25 team, we have to make 13 plus threes. That's not what this team.
When Jackson and Lamont were injured, we had to make above 13 threes to win the game. We had to.
I mean, that's how we beat Tennessee. I mean, the only way we knew that if we shoot lights out, not in the Sweet 16, the game before that, if we shoot lights out, we could beat them. We all knew that. And then that's what happened. I mean, and we needed it. And I think this year, everybody can get to the rim and everybody can shoot. That's the difference to me. And, last year you didn't quite have that, Kobe Bryant wasn't going to put it on the ground and take it.
The only guy who really got to the rim all the time was Otega. Otega and Lamont were probably the two best at getting to the rim.
Exactly. I mean, and your centers are going to finish better around there. I mean, last year we love Amari Williams here, as y'all know, but I mean, he did have his fair share of issues laying the ball in.
Yeah.
And JQ, he will lay it in with authority.
Yeah. JQ will dunk it on your face.
Yeah. He will dunk it, and he might break 3 backboards this year. Rupp Arena needs to up their backboard budget this year.
Yeah. Up the backboard budget. I know we're spending a lot on NIL, but that backboard budget, we need to pump some money into that too.
We need at least $5,000 worth of backboard budget. I don't know how much a backboard costs, but I bet that would cover it for the year.
You got to get Mitch Barnhart on the line. Let him know.
Yeah, let him know. Hey, we need the backboard budget. But I mean, if you're a Kentucky basketball fan, you can't not be ecstatic right now. You can't. You can't not be absolutely ecstatic about the future. This basketball team, they're going to be preseason top 10, I'd say guaranteed, I think, with a shot at being top 5, a legit shot. And it's just what Mark Pope, just even the year 1 to year 2, I don't know if I was expecting it to happen this quick. I thought it was going to be, whoa, the Sweet 16 in year one. That's great. Maybe,
Nuts.
take us another step. He's taken not a step. He took a leap. I mean, that's what happened. And I think this is going to be a special season. I think this will be one of the most fun Kentucky basketball seasons of our lifetimes, Carson.
Yeah, I'm trying to think back on the teams recently that have had this much talent and have had this many good players, and I think the closest thing probably to it since has been. I mean, I know the hero Keldon Johnson team had a lot of talent on it, but I'm thinking this team's more of a Fox, Monk, Bam like squad. I think we've got some guys on this team, and I'm really, really, really excited about what we can do.
And you want to know the thing about that? This is where people are going to get that disconnect and go, well, Calipari's gone. So, I mean, you just have a bunch of ragtag old guys. No. We have a top 5 pick in Jaden Quaintance.
You want me to give the numbers that I gave you earlier before the show?
Let me hear.
So there's only how many? There's 6 schools with 2 5-star recruits at least. Mm-hmm. That is Duke, Arizona, Arkansas, Houston, and Connecticut, and Kentucky. Schools with 4 top 60 transfers is Michigan and Louisville and Kentucky. The only school to have both is Kentucky. So there's a ton of talent on this team.
Which is exactly, if y'all go back to around this time last year, what did Mark Pope say he wanted a roster to look like? He wants a mix of elite high school players, roster continuity, and elite players in the transfer portal. And he has found, assuming you got BG and assuming Owe comes back, plus Chandler and Noah and Perry, you got your roster continuity right there. You got your elite transfers and all the guys we're talking about. And then your freshmen coming in, your 5-stars in Moreno and Jasper Johnson. I mean, he's got exactly what he wanted in year 2, but I think he did it better than anyone could have hoped, dreamed, or imagined this quickly into his Kentucky.
No one's even really talking about Colin Chandler. He's a top 50 player. Everyone just forgets about Colin. Which shout out Colin. I saw Colin at Keeneland on Friday. He was ready to go. He was out enjoying the races, so that was cool. But
where was he, in GA or was he in the?
No, he's GA. He's one of us. He's one of us. I was like, let's go, Colin. He's like, yes, sir. Go Cats. I was like, there he is. That's number 9. Number 9's coming.
Yeah, that's it. Man, that's awesome. I wish you didn't even tell me you saw Colin Chandler. It's awesome.
Well, I forgot, and then I remembered again.
Okay. It says that on the Sprite labels. It can lead to short-term memory loss. They tell you that when you drink Sprites. It's part of it. You got to get used to it.
Yeah.
But and then to what we have NBA talent. I think a lot of folks are going to forget this and they're going to go, well, Calipari's gone. There's no more NBA talent. No, I mean, Jaden Quaintance is going to be a top 5 pick. I think Cam Williams will be a first-round draft pick. I'm not sure if it'll be this year. Mm-hmm. I still lean toward him coming off the bench, and I think it'll be tough for him to make himself a first-round pick off the bench. But I think one more year, and then, Ortega moves on, and he becomes like a starter for us. I think Cam Williams could be a first-round pick.
Completely agree with you there.
And then I think that you've got another I think that you've got a potential first-round pick in Jasper Johnson. Brandon Garrison's an NBA upside guy. Otega Owe can be an NBA player. Malachi Moreno can be an NBA player. Yelovich can be an NBA player. I mean, I don't know everybody, like, legitimately. You have, like,
Colin Chandler can be an NBA.
Colin Chandler can be, exactly. Colin Chandler has NBA upside. That's what I'm saying. Like, there is so much NBA upside on this team. Kentucky will have 3 players drafted next year. I feel very confident. Quaintance is pretty safe. That's one. But I think that 2 more of these guys, I think Otega will end up getting drafted probably in the 2nd round, if I was guessing, but still drafted. And then I think you'll get that one surprise, whether it's Williams or Jasper,
or
that
Yelovich.
They get drafted. Or Yelovich, agree. Yeah. So, so any other, let's get our closing thoughts here on Aberdeen, Carson. Now, how role wise, I'll ask you this. Break down where it sits right now, this backcourt, and kind of how you feel. What are rotations going to look like? Just kind of some easy early. We'll talk more about this in a few weeks. But
well, the one thing that for sure is Lowe is going to be the starting point guard.
Yes.
That's the one thing for sure. And then Otega coming back, for sure he's going to be a starter, whether that be at the 2 or the 3, wherever he plays. Yeah. I feel like basketball's positionless nowadays. I don't really count positions anymore. But Ortega will be a starter as well. And then that's where it gets kind of weird. That's where I think this offseason is going to be huge. I think it's going to be in a competition between Jasper, Aberdeen, and Cam Williams, and even Diabate for like that 3 spot. I think either that one of those positions will be filled by one of those guys. I think even Colin Chandler could be in the running for that competition too. I think, but it's one of the things like we discussed last podcast. We want competition in the locker room. This is a good thing. This is exciting. Iron sharpens iron, like you said last time. This is going to be fun.
Yeah. At our softball game of the day, it was iron sharpened sheet metal when the Bourbon Bombers just had a stand-up triple. I told you about this, and I went to go hand my dad do something for taxes after the game. So I go over to my dad, and I'm like, he was like, "How's your softball game?" I was like, "Has a stand-up triple," and he looks at me and he goes, "No, you didn't." And I said, "I did," and he didn't believe me, which is fair.
So did the right fielder just die out there?
Yeah, it was a torn ACL situation, and they actually had to get the center fielder to go get the ball, and I still couldn't score. But hey, that's a stand-up triple. That's first of the career right there. First of the career.
Speaking of triples, there was a baseball series this past weekend.
Oh yeah, good pull, great pull. Go ahead, let it fly.
There was a baseball series this weekend, and former national champions, the Tennessee Vols, lost to the Batcats at home, and it was the best thing I've ever watched. Because all their fans are baseball. Yep, here come the Batcats to beat you at home. So you're not hanging another banner in that sport. So,
no, and I'll tell you, just talk on the Batcats just for a second. You know, I think last year, my big example, Florida made the tournament last year with a 13-7 record in SEC play, right? 13-7 or 13-17 record, excuse me, in SEC play last year. And they went all the way. They didn't host anything, of course, but they went all the way to Omaha with that 13-17 record. And the Batcats currently have 8 wins with 4 series left, and they are 4 winnable series. What I'm saying is, I think if they could find a way to get 5 wins in 12 baseball games, they'll make the postseason. Now, if you could go 8-7 or 7-8, you're guaranteed in the tournament.
All I'm excited about is the weather is starting to become awesome. That's why I got my little Bahama UK shirt on today. So I'm gonna have to get out to KPP to go check out the end of this season.
Yeah, we will. So I mean, but what I'm saying is, I don't see them hosting. Now, if they win their last 4 series, let's just say, that would give you 8 more wins. That would make them 16-14. I'd say you have an outside chance if you win. Especially if you add in a sweep in there, if you win your last 4 series, it won't be easy to do. But it's possible. I'd say making the postseason, I'd put it at 60%, maybe 70%. But that'll be interesting there. So all right, now I wrote this down. Our backcourt right now. So what? I guess you'd have to throw Trent in here.
That's what I'm saying. We have so many players who can play multiple positions. Like they can run. Trent, I'd say 1 through 3 probably, because I don't see him as a 4. I know he's physically like he could probably bang down low with him, but he's probably 1 through 3.
So what I have right now, and once again, besides point guard, this is positionless. I have Lowe, Aberdeen, and Ortega. Behind Aberdeen, I have Jasper. Behind Jasper, I have Colin. Honestly, if I was a betting man, this is how I think this is going to look. Aberdeen's a combo guard. He can play he can play kind of both spots. I would kind of do a thing where I roll Aberdeen out as a starter, Lowe out as a starter, Ortega out as a starter, obviously. Cam Williams backs up Ortega. Jasper backs up Aberdeen. And then you throw in Colin and Aberdeen to mix in as like your backup point guard. You give like Aberdeen like 4 minutes, 5 minutes as your backup point guard, and give Chandler his 10 to 12 minutes playing a little bit of point guard.
Yep.
And then play in the low 28 minutes and mix 12 minutes between a bit of Aberdeen and a bit of Colin Chandler. What would be ideal is if you could just play Colin Chandler 12 minutes and he's awesome and he's just your backup point guard. But there's some that don't like him as a backup point guard. And if you feel that way, I don't totally disagree with you. But I think that if they just train him, you are a point guard all offseason. Honestly, I think it's better for his NBA upside.
That's what I said. I said this earlier. I think they should develop him as a point guard. He's 6'5". He's got all the athleticism in the world. He's a good dribbler. I mean, he is. Should, I think they should develop him as a one.
Yeah, I agree. So I mean, but that's how I kind of see this backcourt shaking up. And yeah, I think you're going to see Lowe play 28 minutes. I think you're going to see Aberdeen play something like 25 minutes, if I were guessing. I mean, there's no reason to get deep into this right now, but I mean, because I think Johnson's going to play a lot.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think you're for the most part done. Like you said, if we go get like that Hawthorne kid, you know, there's an addition. But I think for the most part, this is our roster, and it's a top 5 roster in college basketball.
And like you said, you know, you're talking about we're going after that catch and shoot guy. Well, Jasper is going to be that guy. Like, he's the guy that is the Kobe Bryant. I mean, he went 22 for 25 in his OTE 3-point shooting, whatever test it was. Yeah. But he can straight up snipe it. So there's your straight up shooter right there. So
yeah, and I mean, if y'all remember, right? I mean, talking about shooter, I mean, Brea came off the bench until Jackson was hurt for the year. I mean, you know, having Jasper come off the bench and just be your catch and shoot knockdown guy. But the difference is, and this is the difference in Brea to a 5-star, is Jasper's, you know, obviously I'd take Brea
Jasper's more than just a shooter
contest, but he's more than just a shooter. And that's what I'm, you know, how we're taking steps to the next level as a program under Mark Pope.
And when we're not knocking Kobe Bryant, I mean, he made strides.
I think he's got a shot to make an NBA roster as like a come off the bench and just be a 3. Well, I don't know about 3 and D, but a 3 guy, you know.
Yeah, so, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, that's really all I've got, Carson. I mean, well, you know, once again, assuming this is pretty much it for our roster, which I think is a pretty safe assumption, we might add one more guy to come in and be a depth piece. But I feel really good about it. But, you know, throughout the week, probably we'll on Thursday, or we'll talk about what's kind of happening. Are we going to bring anybody else in? Obviously, we've canceled our visit with Griffin, so it seems like this is kind of it. But we'll talk more about minutes and rotations and previewing all these players and all that now that we're kind of really now into off-season stuff. So any other thoughts on Aberdeen or this roster as a whole, Carson, before we get out of here?
No, but I do have one more thing. Shout out to Kentucky and Justin Thomas for winning the RBC Heritage down there in Hilton Head Island. Lovely place, but just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah, JT. I'd like to see him play like JT again. He's not playing his best golf because he was on top of the world there for a while.
Him and Spieth, man, it's just been.
Yeah, Thomas's fall off was more recent.
Yeah, I know that, but I'm just saying.
But like they're kind of now in that same boat. That's what I'm saying. Like, you know, I mean, Thomas was higher on the hill for, you know, more recent than Spieth was, but I missed when they were both great. I mean, Spieth was fun.
Yeah.
So although Justin Thomas did play his college golf at Alabama, so if he'd have gone to Kentucky, maybe just kidding. Now he's a Kentuckian. We like JT. So yeah, that's all I got. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't. We would really appreciate that. I think, what are we up to now, Carson? Let's see. Let's go ahead and pull this up. I think we're almost to we're almost 2,500. So please help us get there. We're at 2,458. So we're almost to 2,500. Help us get there. We would really, really appreciate it. Hope everyone has a great rest of their Monday, and we'll see you next time right here on the Wildcats Today podcast.